They didn't all go to hell, they all became church parking lots. Most of them. And it sat vacant for 8 years. It looked pretty rough, and it was a homeless shelter, but not planned. And the smell test proved it. But we, my partner, co-partner in this, George Kravis and I, got together and wanted to form a nonprofit to bring educational things to the circle, along, of course, with movies, art movies. That's a picture of it after about 3 months of work cleaning it up. And by that time, I had been told I should throw in a personal input. The reason I'm following film so much, I'm an identical twin, born during the war, and my father was too old to go to the military, but they said he could show films. And he did, all over the state of California, films about why farmers should work harder to raise more crops to beat the enemy. And he would leave at night and say they would get out with their tractors and use flashlights to plow. And he just kept telling my twin brother and myself, that's the power of film. And we haven't forgotten it, ever, either one of us. That's what it looked like when we first were building on it. It took a few years to build. You know why? It's all about the money. And when we finally had sufficient, we had the marquee replaced. And then we started doing things. We had a theater next door. We bought 2 buildings, and we operated a 100-seat theater. And we started several things for the community, like case in point, the 60th anniversary of D-Day. We showed Guggenheim's film, D-Day Remembered, and had 1,500 people show up at a PAC downtown. That's a picture of a emblem that we found. That's Greg Younger, our theater manager from day one. And what he found there was beneath 3 levels of floors, an emblem that was put into the floor, and that C is not for Clark, we assumed it for Circle. And but that's our subsequent concession stand and how it worked out. We went back to the original thing, and it worked out quite well, to say the least. We also have on our sidewalk the Oklahoma Walk of Fame outside, which everybody involved in films in Oklahoma, which aren't that many, but quite a few, are listed there. The next thing, we did buy the original organ. It was there in 1928. It was removed in 1932 when the talkies came. And we spent quite a bit of money, and then a local organ society came on board and spent 1,500 hours repairing it, making it work. And then we went out and created our own special organ donations, if you know what I mean. And they all got money. And that's it, and we use it quite often. We're kind of mimicking our friend here from Chicago. We do have second Saturday silent films, and we're doing quite well with it. We finally got the thing, the theater more or less completed by our 85th birthday, which was in 2013. It works. It works great. We now have 4 screens, a 225, a 105, an 85, and a 40. They're all DCP, but the one which is a Proludio, the small one. This is the staff that works in this office, and we have a great staff, and at the very end of this thing, our most important thing, I'll show a picture of all of them. Two of whom are here with us right now. 20% of our films are free. We try to do that from day one, and we try to maintain that. We have great turnout, and you can see the original brick walls actually bring history to every event that we have. And we're no different than the earlier theaters we discussed, being as old as we are. Our lobby seats up to 100 plus 100 to 150 standing. And we have a lot of events that fills it to the brim. And all kinds of events, utilizing art, music outside, not much music, but a lot of things that just bring more people to the circle all the time. And I'm now going to kind of run through the following. I have several slides here. It's about celebrities, but there's celebrities in Tulsa. We have to beg people to come to Tulsa. You can't pay them, you just beg them. And the first thing is historical. The Outsider was filmed at the Circle, as was written by a local lady in Tulsa. And when the man says, I stepped out into the sunlight, he was stepping out of the Circle Cinema. So Mr. Coppola and others of the group, actors, have all helped us raise money. We've been very cooperative on this. We've had many a fundraiser predicated on the Outsiders. That, of course, is Mr. Leon Russell, who's no longer with us. He used to attend the Circle as a youth in Tulsa. And we had him here thanks to Emily and Janice Films, and we showed a poem as a naked person, and we showed it quite often and did very well with it. Following that is D.A. Pennybaker. A friend of mine bought Bob Dylan's archives, and we were the first one to show the archives, and him and his wife came to Tulsa, and we showed the film, Don't Look Back. Coming up is a guy that is from New York City. He's a friend of ours, Tony Scott. You may know him as A.O. Scott of the New York Times, and he came and talked with all our members and stuff about films. It was quite interesting. Tim Blake Nelson will be the next one, and he, a New York City man from Tulsa, and like the film you saw last night, he was in that. So every film that he's involved with, he comes back and does some. He was on our board and still is on our capital board. And the last picture, then that'll be followed by Yuval Rabin, and that's thanks to Neil and Mamencha. He is the son of Yitzhak Rabin, the assassinated president of Israel, and we wrote a film about him. And it was quite interesting to hear him talk about our political situation and how similar it is to what we are experiencing right today. And he lost his father because of that reason. And in summary, before I show the staff, I just know how much I thank everybody in this room, my staff, because without your knowledge, I'm in the wholesale lumber business, and it's national scope. By the way, the one on the left here is Mr. Chuck Foxon, who's our photographer here. And the lady on the right is Stephanie LaFevers, who is our executive director, and this is her first Convergence. We've been here for 9 of them. We appreciate that. But in summary, I have traveled all over America. I've been to over 40 of these art houses. I've been received so well at all of them. And without this help and the knowledge you've shared, there'd be no circle. We thank you all very much.